everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Being a Mom and a Leader. Thank you for joining this special session where we celebrate Mother's Day, not just as a holiday, but as a powerful moment to reflect on leadership, resilience, and identity. My name is Fernanda Bosmediano, and I'm the founder of Strong&Proud. I work as well in aerospace and have experience in business and technical things. And this organization is leading the webinar. So in today's session, I will start by a quickly introduction of Strong&Proud, and then we will dive into our main highlight. We have two inspiring panel discussions with 6 amazing women who are both mothers and experts in their professional fields. And in each panel, we will explore what it means to lead at work and what it means to lead at home as well, and how these women are navigating both worlds with strength and grace. So the first panel will be moderated by one of my colleagues, Rana. She's part of Strong&Proud. And the second panel will be moderated by myself. At the end, each panelist will share a key piece of advice or personal learning with all of you. Feel free to write your questions during the whole webinar, and we will answer them at the end. So let's start with the introduction of Strong&Proud. Okay. So we need our presentation. So here, what is Strong&Proud? Strong&Proud is a community, is an organization that aims to eliminate violence against women and put them in leadership roles. We work in 3 areas. The first one is mindset, leadership, and role models. So our story, this project started as a personal healing project for myself, but then since last year it grew and now it's a community where we truly believe on the power of healing and inspire each other and uplift each other as well. So as I mentioned, we work in these 3 areas, mindset, leadership, and role models. In the mindset area, we work with experts, with psychologists, because we want to understand violence, its roots, and its impact in ourselves. And in leadership, we work with women and also allies that are in these roles that we want to reach, especially in technology. So we talk with them and they share with us these strategies that will help us to be in those positions. And role models for us are every woman who is happy doing what they are doing. So we share their stories and how do we do these things. So we have a podcast and we do different interviews with the psychologists and leaders. And we also share all this content through our social media. We have our YouTube channel, or Instagram channel, or LinkedIn channel. And as I mentioned, the Spotify as well, where you can listen this. Also, we have our website. And then apart from this, we organize different events, in-person events and online events like this one. Our next event is going to be in Ecuador. We're going to share some details very soon, so stay tuned. And who is part of this amazing team? So as I mentioned, Strong&Proud now is a big community, but there are 3 key people that are always in every single project, and I'm truly grateful to have them in the team. So we have myself, as I mentioned, and then Tilo Falsgraf, who is also our technical person. He's now taking care that everything now is working on this webinar. So thanks a lot, Tilo, for your work. And then we have Rana Renu. She's also our product designer and marketing designer. So all the amazing things and beautiful things that you see now in these slides and everything, it was done by her. So she's an amazing woman, an amazing colleague, and I'm very happy to have her here. And here are some links for you if you would like to follow us to support our work. You are always very welcome to participate and share your story. And as I mentioned before, we have these events and we have these 3 people that are every single event, but we also have amazing people who always support us in different activities. Like in this case, we have these 6 amazing women that you're going to meet soon. So thank you for joining again. And we're going to start with the first panel. Rana, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Fernanda. Hello, everyone. I'm Rana. I will be moderating panel 1 today. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. Before I move further, I would like to introduce myself. I born and raised in the capital of India, Delhi. However, my roots are from Himalayas. With over 9 years of experience in art direction, mainly in advertising. I have worked with B2B and B2C sectors. Currently, I'm focused on blending design strategy, marketing strategy, and to create sustainable user experience that support business goals. I lived in Germany for 3 years while I was doing masters, and to support myself financially, I was working part time. And during that time, I had some bad experiences that made me realize that how difficult it is for a woman who moved to another country to grow as a person, to live her dreams. And if she doesn't know how to stand for herself, how difficult it is for that woman. And 1 year ago, when I met Fernanda at that conference, she talked about her vision about Strong and Proud. And that motivated me that this is the movement I want to be part of. And, uh, and that is the reason I'm here to support all women who need to be there, this kind of support. And I'm currently handling marketing and design strategy, like Fernanda mentioned earlier. So this was my story. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our first panel speaker, Rati. Rati is a seasonal finance and operation expert, transformational leader, and a proud mother whose journey has been shaped by resilience, purpose, and impact. As a mother of 20-year-old daughter, kudos to you. I don't know how you manage all these things together. With over 2 decades of experience spanning Europe and Africa, she has restructured organizations, resolved complex financial challenges, turned around underperforming teams, and is currently serving as COO, CFO for an impact driven energy foundation. Her expertise lies at the intersection of strategy, performance, and people, where she brings clarity and trust, structure to drive sustainable growth. Rati, you are setting a powerful example for all. Our next speaker is Nash. Nash is a digital content advocacy coordinator, a mother of 7-year-old, leading global digital campaigns at the intersection of social justice, culture, and equality. With a degree in international relations and a PhD in European Union studies, she brings deep expertise in feminism and cultural diversity. Nash, what an incredible journey, balancing impactful work and motherhood with such dedication. Our next speaker is Moona, a board advisor and innovative tech influencer, a mother of 9-year-old. She recently served as executive director EMEA in financial services with nearly 2 decades of experience advising global banks on cybersecurity and risk. Moona advocates for cross-sector crisis, preparedness and resilience. As a multilingual brand ambassador, she balances work and parenting while encouraging the next generation of tech talent. Moona, that's incredibly inspiring, balancing so much with such a grace. We are really excited to hear from each of you. Let's get started with our first round of questions, one for each speaker. We will go in the same order for both rounds. My question for you, Rati: what's a key leadership skill you have developed through being a mom, and how have you applied it?
First, I'd like to say thank you for that very humbling and warm introduction. It just reminded me that sometimes we never really stop to reflect on our journey and take in all the achievements, be it highs and lows. So, thank you for that. I'd like to start by saying a good evening to everyone, a very warm welcome to the viewers that are tuning in, and a special hello to my fellow panelists. It is a pleasure to be here with you all today. So, diving into the question, if I had to pick just one, I think it would be resilience. I really pride myself on this one. So, life has thrown me some, some curveballs, from balancing studies, work, and motherhood, and often very little sleep, and sometimes even less certainty in what the future would look like. And this has been in my journey. There were times where early on in my career, I had to work multiple jobs, just to pay school fees and maintain my monthly expenditure. And through this, I learned how to, bounce back from setbacks quite quickly. I'll give an example. I remember in 2007, 2008, when our country's economy, and this is in Zimbabwe where I come from, crashed and paychecks stopped coming in, I had to pivot quite quickly to consulting, network marketing, just to mention a few, whatever it took. And in that experience, every challenge really became a lesson in grit and created in me a problem-solving skill. Another practical story is also when I moved to the Netherlands for work. It was during the height of the pandemic. I was new in the country with the new culture, and my daughter and I were separated by borders for a while. It was tough, lonely even, but I leaned into the resilience that I had built as a mom. I then began to set small daily goals and also learn to reach out for help. I think this is something we struggle with quite a lot. And I reminded myself that with every phase, it is temporary. So eventually, I was able to bring my daughter over, and now seeing her flourish in a new environment really is worth every sleepless night. So a takeaway in this entire experience to everyone out there listening is that resilience is a muscle. It's a flex even. Remember to ask for help. Asking for help is not a weakness. It really is a leadership. It's a leadership superpower. Thank you. You're on mute, Rana.
Thank you. I was saying such an honest and inspiring share. Thank you so much. My next question to you, Nash. Was leadership something you always aspired to, or did it evolve through motherhood?
Thank you so much. I will start as my dear colleague saying thank you for Strong and Proud for doing this webinar, but also for raising voice and giving voice to women. I think that's one of the most revolutionary things we can always do, give voice to all women around the world. So thank you so much. Very honored to be with all these amazing women, and I feel very, very honored and humbled. Going to the question, I think I always lean towards leadership, but motherhood somehow made it real. So before, leadership felt like owning a room, maybe, but after becoming a mom, it became about holding space and for others, and even for myself. I think with compassion, with clarity, and above all, with courage. I'm 100% on the courage part. So for me, motherhood transformed my definition of power, I have to say. It's not longer about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about knowing when to speak, when to listen, when to protect, when to challenge. And I don't know, I used to think leadership was about strategy and performance. Now I know it's about presence and about integrity and about living by example, which is very hard. It's very easy to say, but it's very hard actually to do. And that evolution happened while I was holding my baby at 3 a.m. in the morning, negotiating both nap time and maybe campaign deadlines. And I don't know, it has been, I think, a long road. I think I share this with you all. I was losing my mother when becoming a mother. So that has been one of the most challenging things of my life. But it also made me realize that her leadership was also leading my path. So sometimes when I'm up to here and I cannot take it anymore and I'm tired and I'm about to lose my mind, I remember that she raised me to be a strong woman and to raise a strong boy that can also change a little bit the perception of feminism and leadership in the world. So that's my answer.
Wow.
Thank you
so powerful. Thank you, Nash. Moving forward with Moona. I think this is the first time we are meeting Moona, right? Okay.
Sanona.
What's a key leadership skill you have developed through being a mom, and how have you applied it?
Yeah, so also from me, a warm welcome to all our listeners, and thank you to the Strong and Proud team for having me. Thank you, Rana. Yeah, that is a wonderful question, and that is one I didn't have to think about so long. Some of the others I had to think about for a while, but the first thing that came into my mind was efficiency. I think as moms, we get things done because we have very limited time and tons of demands on us. So we just don't mess around. We just get on with it and we get it done. And yeah, also thank you to all my co-speakers. I've already learned a lot from you guys and I'm taking notes here. So I'm really pleased you guys are organizing this event and I hope it's going to be useful to others.
Beautifully said, Moona. Thank you. I'm moving back to Rati. Your next question is, what would you say to young women afraid they can't have both family and a career? We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I think I was just saying, I think we've all heard this statement that you can't have it both. I think, firstly, I'd like to say to all the women out there, we see you. Your fears are valid. The world often tells us we have to choose, but that is a lie. You can have both. I could be biased, but I feel you can have both a family and a career. But it definitely won't always look like a glossy magazine cover. There will be trade offs, messy in between, messy days, moments of doubt. But with that, there also always comes immense joy, pride, and growth. Here's what I've learned, and I think, and it's some nuggets to share. Define your own success. Don't let other people's timelines or standards box you in. Build your village. Just as much as it takes a village to raise a child, I feel even for us, it takes a village. Seek support from family and friends, mentors, even, and don't do this journey alone. The third one would be give yourself grace. Huh? There's always going to be seasons where sometimes your work takes the front seat, and in some instances, your family does, and that's also okay. The fourth one would be celebrate every win, big or small. Progress is progress. I often like to share this nugget with my daughter that the road is asked from those that have gone before you. So, in essence, don't be afraid to ask for guidance. I think every experience, even the hard ones, is shaping us into the leaders that we are meant to be. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. That was really thoughtful. And moving back to Nash, have you faced moments where you felt you had to choose between work and family? And how did you handle them?
Oh, absolutely. I think every day. But actually, especially during emergencies, and especially it's one of those moments right now. Um, my I have to share this with you. My partner's father is at the emergency room at this moment. So I had to deal with solo parenting, working, preparing for the webinar, but also hold my son through panic attacks about death these couple of days. So yeah, I have been forced to kind of choose. So what I have been doing is communicating openly at work, set clear boundaries, and of course trusted my team. And that's very important. I'm surrounded by a great team also of women that are supporting me, and I know it has been messy, but it taught me that leadership also means being vulnerable and asking for help. As my colleague was saying, you need to ask for help. You cannot, I mean, you cannot do it at all, and you cannot pretend that you can do it at all. You do what you can with what you have. And that is something that I keep reminding myself every single day when I look at the mirror and I'm like, I cannot do it anymore. You do what you can with what you have. So yeah, I've faced also slower moments, quieter choices, like saying no to high profile meetings, or events when I have only this weekend, for example, to be with my son, and he's with this anxiety. My choice is right now being with him as he needs me, and of course this decision doesn't often come without guilt. I think we are taught to feel guilt, but I learned to distinguish guilt from regret, and I've never will regret for choosing presence. And right now the presence where I'm needed the most is here with my son, and I'm not regretting that. So yeah, it's hard to cope, but we can do it. We're armed to do it. Thank you.
Wow, that was powerful. And I must say this thing, only brave one ask for help. I agree with you. Moving on to Moona. This is your last question. What's one thing that surprised you about being a mom in the professional world?
Yeah, I would say it's more than just one thing. It's probably a couple of things, and I suppose touching on what my co-panelist just said, mom guilt is really intense. You know, when you first put them into nursery, maybe to go back to work, or when you're maybe missing a sports day, which I've missed every year for his first 4 years of school, but this year I finally went. And then also what surprised me is I've always traveled a lot even from when he was really little. So like the first business trip I did, he had to come with me because it was a multi-day trip and I was still breastfeeding. So my husband also had to come. And that's another thing that maybe surprised me is how much you start to rely on your partner during this journey if you have one. But yeah, other surprises, I would say it started even during pregnancy. I got the most amazing job offers and I was kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna have to turn them all down, or because I felt like bad about taking a job when I knew I was pregnant, and I felt that was unfair to the company offering the job. So I suppose also what surprised me is the ingenuity of services around motherhood and working, you know, to enable us. So for example, apparently there are services where you can post breast milk, and I thought that's so useful. And my co-panelist just said, you know, you need a village around you. That is so true. And that's also true for, you know, our information needs. Like, how can we find out about all of these things that maybe we didn't know before we became moms in the working world, right? So I actually used resources like, and this may be a little bit staid, but I actually do look up things on Mumsnet every now and again. And I remember in the early days, I was so glad for the support, and I had my little WhatsApp group. So I think you get surprised by how much you're starting to lean on others and you need them, and how also that makes you less judgmental, right? So one of the things I've always enjoyed about being a mom is, and that's helped me in my leadership journey, is that you do feel connected to others more. I think you understand others better, and I would say it's definitely made me a less judgmental person, because I don't know what they're going through, what their family situation is. All those, you know, you mentioned quite a lot of sleepless nights there, Rati, or very, very short nights at least. You know, those things all have an impact on others, and we might not see that, we might not know. But that's why I think, you know, cut others some slack. You don't know what they're going through. And I would say one of the last things, and it's not so much necessarily the work life, but a key lesson for me was that as a mom, maybe you don't have as much time to play when you're working as well, but sometimes all the kids need is a couple of minutes. I love the resource of 5 Minute Mom, where you can get them to play and you give them attention, and then they go off and play again on their own, which can also be quite healthy. So we all develop our little coping mechanisms and strategies.
That was really honest and inspiring once again. So we have completed all the questions. So before we close panel one, I just want to say thank you for sharing such a valuable insights. And it's been pleasure moderating this session and learning from all of you. So Now we are going to move on our panel 2. Over to you, Fernanda.
Yeah, actually, just also wanted to thank the everyone in the panel before, because this project started because of that. I feel like I'm always very inspired from every woman, and we are learning all the time. And one of the things that I always thought was like, you have to be perfect all the time, and that's why I was so scared of thinking, do can I really have even a partner? Then can I even have kids? And that's why we started this webinar. And now I learned that it's like a journey. And yeah, I hope everyone is learning a lot as we are learning. So thank you again. So we are going to start with the second panel. We have another three amazing speakers. We have Akua, we have Blanca, and we have Jessica. I'm so grateful to have you all here with us. So we're going to start with Akua. So Akua is a software engineer. She's a mother of three. She started her career in geological engineer. And then she moved to Germany. In Germany, she started her tech journey since 2020, while she was also bringing up her young family with three girls. She loves singing, reading, and connecting with people. Aqua, my first question for you is, have you faced some moments where you felt you had to choose between work and family? And
Yeah,
thank you so much for being here.
yeah,
It's an
thank you
honor
for
to have
having
you.
me. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. Thank you for having me, and thank you for organizing this wonderful event. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, the first panelist. I didn't really want to be a panelist anymore after listening to all this. I was just like, I just want to listen and not speak. It's just amazing. Yes, absolutely. There have been times where, can you just repeat the question again? I just don't want to deviate.
Yeah. No worries. The question was like, have you faced moments where you felt you had to choose between work and family, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, there have been moments. So when I was in Hamburg when I decided to do a boot camp to change my career to be a software engineer, and my youngest child was about 2 that time. And so when they would bring me to the train station, I did a 9-week boot camp. And I would spend 2 weeks in Berlin and then go on the weekend of the second week. So when they would bring me to the train station, I just could not watch her eyes when she looked at how she looked, like, why is my mom going away, and it just broke my heart to see her eyes. But on the other hand, I don't think that I was choosing between them, because everything I put in at that moment, I also saw how the same eyes were just so bright when they realized I had got a job as a software engineer, and and they were so proud to speak about it. And they asked me so many questions about what I do and all that. And I realized that I have 3 girls. So it was also very important to me that they realize that all the effort they are putting in their education is not going to end up one day just in changing diapers and cooking meals, but they could do something with whatever they are aspiring to be. And so for me, even when I feel like I'm choosing between them and the workplace, it's actually everything I do is choosing them in the long run.
Yeah. That's such a like so powerful insights, and actually also reminds me of when I grew up. I grew up like looking up my mother. Like she was for me like an also bigger inspiration. So I'm sure your little girls see you as an like they are super inspired from your story and everything you do for them. Thank you for sharing this. Now we have also Blanca. So always I will give a quick introduction, but feel free also to add something as well. So Blanca is a personal brand strategist. She's a visual brand expert as well. Blanca, she had like a corporate career in the US, in Germany, all this career that some of us want to have. And then she left the security of a steady job to build her own business. So I think this is so amazing. And while she was building this business, she was also raising two young children, and she was also navigating this new life in a new country. So if you are an immigrant, you know how hard it is. And on top of that, I think that's a lot of work. So very grateful to have you here with us. 14 years later, now I know you are now the founder of People Brands, where you help a lot of people also to find the right opportunities, the right clients and investors as well. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, Blanca. Oh, I forgot your question. So your question as well is, what will you say to young women afraid they can't have both a family and a career?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, thank you for allowing me to be here, because when I met you, the I grew up with, that's one little thing. I grew up with a mom and a grandmother that didn't have the chance to study, and so they come from a background where I can really identify with the mission that you have as well, from Strong and Proud. So that's very special for me to be able to be here. What I would say to women that are afraid that they cannot have it both, I would say is that yes, you can. But most of the times you're only 100. And some days, not even 100. And you have to be able to split that into all the areas or roles in your life. And I think one important thing is to be able to accept and embrace imperfection in those roles. Because it's never, if you choose to be both, which is absolutely perfect, you need to also be kind to yourself and accept the fact that not everything is going to work out perfect. And sometimes I walk like this next to my kitchen, trying not to see the piles of laundry that are on the couch either. But like some of the other colleagues have said, like Nash said, for example, I choose to be present. And sometimes I was going to play with my kids and go out to the park or whatever, and then choose to leave those things there and be the bad, like mom that doesn't do the perfect dinners or the perfect organized closet or whatever. And that was okay, because you just need to be really clear on what are your priorities. And also, like Rati say, ask for help, because that 100% that you choose to divide, sometimes you can ask other people to help you fill out those roles. And sometimes our grandparents, sometimes it's your partner, and that's okay as well. So I think in the end, it's be kind to yourself, accept that you cannot be everything to everyone, because otherwise you're going to burn out.
Yeah,
That would
I
be
think that's so. This is so true. And one thing I wanted to say is that actually everyone here, all the speakers, come from different backgrounds and different countries as well. So that's also something that brings a lot of value to this webinar. And that's why also Blanca and I, we come also from Latin America. So where we've seen a lot of women that they are working very hard every day and night, and we think we have to be perfect, like the way she says. So I'm very grateful you said I don't have to be perfect and I still can do it. I can do many things. So thank you so much, Blanca. So we have also Jessica Gianpietro. Also very happy to have you here with us. Jessica, she's a leader in software development. Apart from being a leader at work with teams, she's also doing her MBA. So that's a extra thing. And apart from that, she's a single mom of an empowered, like 5-year-old daughter. And she's also very committed to help women, especially. And that's why she's here and Strong and Proud participating today, because she believes also that we can do a lot of things. And if we support each other, we can do great things together. So, Jessica, it's our pleasure to have you here. And my question to you is, what is a key leadership skill you developed through being a mom, and how have you applied it as well?
Yeah, so agreed with everyone. I'm very humbled and happy to be here. So thank you, because I absolutely stand behind the cause of Strong and Proud. And yeah, when Rati had that question and she answered with, if I had to pick one, I was like, yeah, if I had to pick one, what would that be actually? And I think resilience is very strong. And has a great impact. And to say something different than that would be to how I understand now that I cannot take every pain away, like in solving all the problems that appear throughout each and every day. And also some parallels to what Next said too is like just to listen sometimes, actively listening, knowing when to speak, and very important, leading by example, like what you give out, I think has an impact on others. And yeah, also communicating appreciation no matter what age. Like my 5-year-old is happy to hear that she did something good the same way my 50-year-old colleague does. And yeah, throughout my career, I was astonished by how much it helps to sometimes just be there and listen to, the day-to-day problems of colleagues or like nursery kids. And we all have our good and bad days, and I believe we're driven to find solutions without sometimes even understanding first what the problem or topic actually is about. Sometimes we hear something and then we imply we know what it is all about. But if you like lean back and actively listen, take a breather together maybe, and even ask if help is wanted, that makes a big difference, because sometimes it's not. Sometimes I find myself often in just wanting to say things, getting some pressure off my chest, and then in that moment that helps. And same goes for others. Sometimes they just need to be listened to, heard, being seen. We all have our struggles throughout the day. We don't know what everybody, carries on their shoulders. And yeah, but also to say a second thing, it's always coming in handy to have snacks, no matter what age.
Yeah,
Chocolate helps.
thanks. Thanks, Jessica. And I think it's a very powerful advice to listen. I think now I'm in this like I'm not a mom yet, but I'm learning to listen more to people. And I think I truly believe that when you're a mom, that the skill grows even more. And yeah, being compassionate, I heard as well, and asking for help as well. So thanks a lot for all your insights. So we go to Aqua again, and we have this question came so often, but I think it's very important because many people I know, especially women, they always ask this like that they always tell me they are afraid of being a mom and having a career at the same time. So we also want to hear from your perspective, what are these advices or tips you will give to this young woman?
Yeah. So I would say that absolutely. Um, don't be afraid. You can have a career and be a mom. The problem is usually we are just looking at careers as being linear, but there's no such thing as a linear career. During COVID, people who were very good and seasoned pilots had to stay at home. They lost they lost their livelihoods. And so you could have the best career ever. It's never going to be there forever. Your kids, of course, it can be that they'll never be there forever, but family is different from career. Family is what stays. And if you sacrifice that because of a fear that you will lose your career, you might come to a point where it's too late and you can't do anything about it. Another thing I would like to say is that there's never a right time. Always the time will seem like it's wrong. You can ask every single mom on this panel and they will tell you that they did not really think that was the right time, but in hindsight they're happy it happened. And so that's another reason why a lot of people are afraid I can't be a mom, because first you want to first land a job, you can't be a mom. Then you want to prove yourself the first 6 months, you can't be a mom. Then you've proven yourself the first 6 months, you want a promotion, you can't be a mom. The list goes, it's endless. So yeah, you can plan, but at some point, if you really think it's something you desire, just go for it and other things will fall in place.
Mm. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Aqua. And this makes me smile because I'm actually thinking to do a master in psychology to be ready. And I feel this resonates a lot with me. I think I have like already 3 masters, but I'm like, oh, I need to do this and that and that and that. So yeah, I think Aqua's message was very clear. there's like you are ready. So I think we can always improve, but yeah, I think we learn a lot from your message, Aqua. So we have your second question, Blanca. We want to ask you, like, what's one thing that surprised you about being a mom in the professional world?
Well, as I told you in the beginning, I grew up with a grandma, and my grandma, she came from a farm environment, and my mom, my grandma only made the to like maybe sixth grade, and my mom until high school, until they had to like work, and I couldn't finish school. They pushed it in my head like my entire life that I had to work, that I had to make a career, that I had to be independent, and all these things, right? So I had big goals, and I wanted to like power career and into corporate and God knows what. And I was so surprised that that was until the very moment that when I had my kids. And in my case, it happened also a little bit like what Aqua said. It was not the right time because I was kind of waiting for a promotion and thing. And then it happened. And my priorities completely crashed. I did not want what I wanted before. And I had landed in a job that because of a restructure, I ended up in a job which was not the original job I had entered in a company. And I was grateful for the company and they were good. It was a good job, but it was just not me. And I started feeling, like I didn't belong there. And those new priorities that I didn't expect at all were the ones that inspired me to actually get out of there and build my own thing, my own business with the values aligned to the values that I wanted to transmit to my kids. Because one of the things I never wanted was to be that kind of person that goes to a job every day unhappy, and that my kids would grow up seeing that their mom, that's what she was doing, unhappy to go every Monday to work. And I did not want that. I wanted to create something I could be proud of and that hopefully one day they are also proud of. And that was really surprising because with all my upbringing, I never thought that I would say, bye-bye corporate career, and let's start from scratch and do something, but that really is meaningful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Blanca. I think everyone, if you are from Latin America, not everyone, but a lot of us can can relate to that. I guess it's also because of the opportunity. So our parents are very concerned into what is going to happen with you. So I had the same. I had to study hard since I'm 5, and I think like going into a direction that really aligns with your values and what really makes you happy is something that not everyone does it. And I'm very happy to hear your story and learn from that, Blanca. So we have Jessica. Your next question is like, how do you personally define balance? This is a good one. Balance between career and family, and what does that look like for you day to day?
I love how you say that's a good one. Yeah, so when I picture my balance, I believe a good comparison would be like attending a yoga class. It's not always about steadiness. It's rather shaky, and sometimes you tip to the side and you get back into position. And I think same goes for me working and being a mother. I aspire to be a role model for my daughter and give her good values. And I want to be strong and getting things done. And they aren't always perfect. Like we tried to make a birthday cake last week and that turned out so messy, but we had so much fun together. And that's good because what stays, the core memories is always the attendance, the being there, the time together. And yeah, and then there are other times when she has to understand that she needs to play a little bit on her own. Same what Moona said before. Because I don't know, I need to get an email out that's urgent. And yet, about balance and perfection, sometimes I just fall asleep putting her to bed, and then I say it as it is at work. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys, that you had to wait for that email. I fell asleep with my daughter last night, so we both needed that. Here is the email. the information whatsoever. And saying things as they are helps a lot, because everybody understands and everybody makes mistakes, and that's how we learn and that's how we grow too. And what also helps us a lot with keeping a balance is routines. We have very set routines, but not fix. So we have like a framework that we can move in. And coming back to the village, or circling back to the village that was mentioned before, a big shout out to my village that is also attending as listeners here. I'm very humbled and glad that I have like a lot of very strong women being my village and confusing my daughter every day by calling them all aunties. So we have a weird family construct, I guess. But yeah, it's very powerful to ask for help and accepting help that comes from a place of love. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. And I think for the audience, I think just one thing, this is very valuable because you see all the women that you just met now, they are all they build big things. So when they say this kind of things that there is no really perfection, I'm really grateful to hear that because they build their own paths. They are doing amazing things. Like they mentioned, there's days that maybe are not the best days. And we wanted to be very intentional with this webinar. So not sharing, not saying everything will be perfect and you will handle everything 100% right. So, and that's why we invited them. So thank you so much. This second panel, it was amazing to have you here. And now we want to bring everyone together. We want to see if there are some questions from the audience. I don't know if we had some questions from the audience. Let me check. Just wanted to mention, I don't see any questions from the audience, but Nash, our audience, is wishing you the best also for your family, your partners, and to everyone also. They are being very grateful for all the messages you gave. So we want to bring everyone now, every panelist to the main screen, to the stage. And we would like to close this session so with one last message from all of you. So yeah, maybe we can start with Akua. Or just feel free to share your message. You can just give your message and then name the other person.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I've already tapped into my message. Don't let fear stop you from having this beauty of being a mother. Go out, go get it, and everything will fall into place. None of us have had linear careers. We've changed along the way. You'll change also along the way. You'll survive. If Rati could survive through financial backdowns of a whole nation, don't even be afraid that the world is having economic downturn now. Just go for it. You will survive, and later you will really thank God that you did it. Because if you want it, unfortunately, our bodies can't do it forever. But for your careers, you can change your career anytime. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'd like to just step in as well and agree with what Akua is saying. The journey to leadership is not a straight line. Mine was definitely shaped and stretched in all different directions. Becoming a mom at 21, a single mom for that, was a plot twist that I never saw coming. Motherhood didn't slow down my dreams. It gave them wings. And I think this is the encouragement that if you're faced with this, question, what comes first, the chicken and egg question, it's something I think all my fellow colleagues have echoed as well, that it is possible to do both. Every challenge should be a stepping stone, or every setback should be a setup for a comeback. Motherhood does not diminish your professional value. I think it enhances it. It definitely enhanced mine. Yeah.
Thank you.
I can jump. Thank you for this, and just have a message for the women that are listening to this. And it's my point of view. What I get to understand is that motherhood doesn't take you out of the game. It puts you on a whole new field. So it teaches you to lead with fire in your belly, but tenderness in your hands. to move fast when the world needs action, and to slow down when someone needs holding. So you don't have to choose between being a mother and being a leader, because you are already both. So every decision you make, every boundary you protect, every dream you dare to keep alive, that's leadership. And I think the only thing I want to say is that don't shrink to fit someone else's idea of a woman, of a mother, of a leader should be. Expand, take up space, rewrite the rules, and do it knowing that your power is not spite of your motherhood. It's because of it.
Yeah, that's so
Moona?
beautiful. Yes, I'd love to go next. So thank you guys, and yeah, I'd love to share some advice that my friends gave me. So first of all, Joanne, I remembered while I was pregnant, I was having these worries about not being able to manage, and she said, everyone manages in their own little way, and that sustained me, and it sustains me to this day. To be honest, when sometimes it gets too much, I'm like, everyone manages in their own little way, and it just it gave me hope and something to hold on to in the hard times. But also my friend, I took a very difficult job right after maternity leave, and my other friend Rini said, once my son, once Benjamin, flies the nest, you have a wonderful career to go back to. You have something for yourself. And I think that's the other side of it. Yes, it's hard, but it's also rewarding. And then we get the joy of raising a little one in between. But just quickly, I think for those who might want to dive a bit deeper into the topic of some of what we explored today, I wanted to share some quick reading tips. So the famous book by Sheryl Sandberg, Lean In. You may think what you like of her, but I do think she's got some very good tips, especially also for how parenting can be a good partnership. Then I loved Shifting the Dials by Rebecca Anderton, about focus versus balance. And a new one that I think isn't even out yet, and I can't wait to read, is Improvising Careers by Christopher Bishop. So thank you, everyone.
I can go next if you want. For me, it would be to share that being a parent is probably one of the hardest jobs you will ever have, but it's also the most rewarding you will. And becoming a parent only will make you a better leader, because you have to step into becoming a better guide, a better teacher, a better communicator, and a person who inspires. And if you at all have the hope of leaving a legacy in this world with the work that you do, I say they're not different parts of your life, they're the same. In my business, I have never had separate boundaries. My kids have been along the way, and now that they're older, 17 and 19, they are part of that thing that we've created. They're not separate. They're come along for the journey. So part of your legacy could be your work, but your kids become part of that legacy too.
Amazing.
I also want to clap to everyone.
Yeah, so to go last is very hard after all this inspiring last words. Yeah, I would say just be true to yourselves, lead by being you, have fun in what you're doing, don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how you learn. And also, maybe don't call them mistakes. Maybe it's just one way that you found out how something not works, and just on your way to finding the way of how it works. And yeah, with the motherhood topic, I would also say there have been great visionaries that always said, if you want great ideas, go to the nursery, ask the kids, because they are not, as they don't have these blocks and limits in their head like we grown-ups do. So yeah, I love talking to kids. My kids still in nursery, so the things they say, sometimes it's amazing if you listen. So yeah, enjoy.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone. Rana, would you like to say, yeah?
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing these insights. Well, I'm not a mother, I'm not even married, but in future, if I get this more than opportunity, I would say the blessing, if I get this blessing, then I will definitely take this beautiful, inspiring stories with me so that I can share this with maybe with my child so that he or she can be a better person, and like I feel like I makes my mom proud, so they will do one day for me. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.